Students who can't read proficiently by 3rd grade are 4 times more likely to drop out of high school. 70% of incarcerated adults can't read at a 4th grade level. 85% of juveniles who interact with the court system are functionally illiterate. High school dropouts are 3.5 times more likely to be arrested than graduates. And beyond just those statistics, there's something that's a little bit harder to measure, and that's critical thinking.
Hi, welcome back to the castle. Today is finally a day where we will watch a video. We will watch how Gen Alpha still can't read anything. It is a video by Sono Jordan, and I am always interested in those type of like behavior things of humans, you know? So I thought it would be interesting to watch together. Let's go. So here's the video. It is linked down below, so if you want to watch it yourself, if you want to leave some support, please do so. And now let's see why Gen Alpha still can't read anything. There's a serious crisis.
There's a serious crisis in education today because kids are too busy 6-7ing to learn how to read at their grade level.
The kids can't.
What is 6-7ing? Is this a verb now? I'm getting too old for this. Gen Alpha can't read or use their imaginations.
Can't read, write, or remember anything, or use their imaginations, and the teachers are wondering why.
They're feral, they can't read, they're crazy.
People are putting screens in front of their children instead of books.
Why do you need 2 screens?
Because I can't watch YouTube on this one.
And that is
Okay, but why do you need to watch YouTube and play the game? Why you just can't have an action figure and play in the grass?
leading to not just a lack of literacy, but a lack of confidence and a great deal of anxiety.
my
They don't know how to
lord.
put things away. They don't know common decency.
Having to teach and work with you guys as children has been the most traumatic experience of my life.
Their future could be at risk if something doesn't change fast.
Gen Alpha can't
That is an intro, huh? Oh my god. I mean, I can't understand that is becoming a problem. I am lucky that my both human nephews, even though they which generation are they? I don't even know actually. I just mix up the numbers of the generations, so I don't want to put them in some kind of bucket. But they know how to handle boredom. They know how to read. They have ambitions. They have goals. I'm so proud of them. So luckily they didn't, even though they had like gaming consoles and a phone fairly early. I think the younger one had a phone with like 12. I think. I mean, it's not usually kids. My sister did a good job. Okay, my human sister did a good job raising them. Jeez. Because this is an issue. This is a real issue.
read anything anymore. Do you remember the days when we were in school and we were asked to do things like read books, write essays, or really just do anything that required more than...
I got a yo-yo last year. It's so fun to play with it. You have no idea. You have no idea. It also glows when you let it spin. I'm getting old.
30 seconds of thinking. Well, apparently at some point since then, we've decided that doing things like that is for losers, and we'd be better off using our time teaching kids more important things, like how to brain rot all over the place.
What is that? No, because why did my sister get me a brain rot binder for Christmas? What is a brain rot binder now? Oh gosh, you help me in the comments. Some of you might heard about it.
I'm kind of joking when I say that, but not really, because I see videos like this.
Okay. Wait, what does it say? POV, you're a Gen Z teacher teaching Gen Alpha already. Who already know the 6-7 trend.
Ready? Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Give me a moment. I need to process this. uh, 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 what? What? Um. Okay.
Maybe it's just me and my silly little goofy brain, but is it crazy that kids know a dumb trend before they know how to count? Like, it's insane to me to think I could walk up to a Gen Alpha kid and they'd have a better chance of saying 6, 7 to me than actually knowing how to count to 6 or 7.
The thing is, it's not even funny. It's not a meme. It's not funny. Why? I don't know.
But in a
Let's
way,
just
that
move
does feel
on.
like an appropriate reflection of our time,
Let's just
because
move
Gen
on.
Alpha isn't asked to read entire books or write whole essays anymore. They're asked to write paragraphs, and sometimes they can't even do that.
The younger generation is cooked. I just watched a video of a teacher trying to tell his kids that they have to write a paragraph, not an essay, 5 sentences, and they're moaning and groaning and whining away about, oh my God, I gotta write 5 sentences.
And it's not like I downed some
Interesting. They don't even want to write. So this is personally for me. When I learned to write, I thought it's really fun because I liked to paint. So for the first times when we practice writing, it feels a little bit like painting. So I was very much enjoying it.
4-day-old bottle of Haterade
But
and
that
came
was
up
just
with
my
all of this.
experience.
But there is actual data that can empirically show this is what's happening. If we look at the NAEP, which is the National Assessment of Educational Progress,
Okay.
40% of 4th graders are now reading below the NAEP basic level. That is the lowest possible level, by the way. And for reference, if you're reading below the basic level, that probably means you can't identify the main point of a paragraph or a character's motivations in a story. So it's pretty much the same reading level as you see on X or on Instagram threads. On top of that, for 8th
Wait, is Fred's on the same level now? Like Twitter? I didn't know.
graders, it's even worse. 1/3 of them are below basic, which is the highest percentage ever recorded in 32 years of testing. Then if you go to the place with the most educated, the smartest, the most genius humans of all time, if you go to the place where they're all hanging out, they will say the same thing. And of course, I'm talking about TikTok.
Uh-oh. 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 But one thing that makes me wonder, so this, take it with a grain of salt. I'm not an expert, you know? I'm just a reaction VTuber who also streams gaming on Twitch. I mean, I understand. The thing is, I don't want to blame the teachers entirely, right? So, like, using a screen to teach stuff, like with a song, stuff like this, it's kind of fun. What is an issue probably, like, kids don't just spawn with a phone or iPad in their hands, right? They don't spawn with that. So someone has to give them to this and give them allowance to use it and not monitoring them. So how can we fix? I don't think, I mean, fixing the kids, fixing is a very weird way to say it, but you know what I mean. Like, giving them alternatives is one thing, but I think the root of the problem is that the parents maybe are not, I don't want to say capable, but maybe they don't have the right tools, or they don't know how to properly raise them, or maybe are too loose to some degree. Or, and I think this is the main part also, are not the best role model. For example, one of my friends has a kid, and she is turning 3 this year. And she knows what a phone is because she's allowed to watch Peppa Pig 30 minutes a day, which is already, like, she's almost free, right? So you could say, okay, this is concerning. With 30 minutes per day is okay, and usually they try to skip it and like try to play it out basically before they even get the phone in their hands, and they really, really try to not have the phone around when she's awake. So when she's taking a nap, when she is maybe like playing by herself, then the parents or my friends check their phones if something happened, if they need to attend something. And if they are like spending time with the kid, there's no TV on, there's no phone nearby, there's no iPad, there's just books and toys. They're going outside, they play with the dog. And they really try to raise her and show her, hey, a phone is not needed. You don't need a phone to have fun. And she loves books. She has so many of them because she loves them. And she also loves the books that make music, you know, like when they're having songs in them. That she really likes that. So the thing is, like, kids are like just copying most of the time what the parents are doing. And of course, if the parents are on the phone all the time, not paying attention to the kid, or just like zoning out because probably they're stressed or whatever, right, for whatever reason, the kids copy that behavior. And then, like, if, like, for example, if the parent would read a bit more, or would like do a sport that they can include the kid with, for example, or they have a dog and go outside, go on longer walks and hikes and stuff like that. I mean, yes, there will be a little tantrum maybe sometimes, you know, because not every kid wants to do that. But I think being a good role model already does a lot in terms of education. But this is just my perspective, right? Don't cancel me, please. Yeah, you never know for what you get canceled. So yeah, let's see what TikTok has to say about it.
There are a whole bunch of teachers on there who, for lack of a better word,
Gen Alpha doesn't value education. I mean, if you never learn how valuable it is to be educated, how
are saying how sucky Gen Alpha is at reading and overall.
Yet young Gen Z teachers are talking about poor behavior in Gen Alpha students. That's the thing. Of course, the kids, when they have some a specific brain development in terms of age and stuff like that, what they experience, they can think. They have the ability to think. But if you grow up, there's always more than just blaming the kids. You can't blame the kids for something they're not responsible for, or like mainly responsible for. So the kid per se is just trapped in this procedure, basically, in this downfall.
Just comprehension in general.
They don't know
it feels
better.
like teaching an entire generation of weaponized incompetence. Because what do you mean you can't just reread the directions that I strained my voice to read out loud 3 times? What do you mean you can't just look at the rubric that I made that shows you exactly how to get a grade, and I said if you even wrote a few sentences, you could get a 1, which is a D. The security guard stopped by and he was kind of like shocked at how confused the kids were. It's an alternate ending to The Outsiders. You get to do whatever you want, and you were given enough information, notice, and preparation. Now you can just sit down and write anything you want.
Yeah, like I said, it do be difficult. I would not blame the kids entirely, and not as the main focus. I wouldn't do that. I also wouldn't specifically blame teachers. There has a different, you know, there are like there's a root to the whole thing.
Boy does this, Johnny doesn't die, whatever you want to do. And they're just sitting there like this.
Like a little zombie. Oh God.
And I can't help that. And so I just told him, like,
and I understand that teachers are frustrated. That's another thing. I can absolutely understand that teachers are frustrated if they have to like try to make this better, even though it's not. I mean, yes, it's part of their responsibility, but also not fully. Like raising a child is like a more, I want to say, like a more community thing. Like many places, many parts have a role in it to educate and also like teach kids manners and how to behave and yada yada, be like have like different role models. It's not only one source, but it's like a collective source. But the collective source, if like 1 or 2 things of this are breaking away or like is rotted, basically, that it is not, the other parts cannot just wait it out. The other parts cannot lift the other side back up to fix it, kind of. It has to have multiple levels of attending this, or like us to treat it.
You need to pick up the pencil and write. I can't help you. You need to pick up the pencil and write.
So yeah, somehow these Gen Alpha kids can navigate an iPad with an incredible amount of complexity and dexterity, but then you show them a sentence that's longer than 5 words and their brain has to reboot. It crashes. You have to give them like 15 minutes before they can even speak again. So based off of all of that, here's the question.
Is that real?
Question that I have. How did we raise the first generation of kids who grew up fully online and now they can't read? Before we go any further, I want to address something. I know that every generation says that the next generation can't do something, or they're always dogging on the generation that comes after. People say millennials killed cursive, they say Gen Z killed phone calls, Gen Alpha killed the ability to communicate normally without referencing some dumb trend that makes everyone's IQ lower. You know, it is what it is.
Skibbity toilet riz, W Sigma. Livy Dunn rizzing up baby Gronk, while Duke Dennis is wittily gwittying outside no phantom tax on Skibbity.
But in this case,
What did she just say? Can someone please translate?
I'm not just being a boomer. Like I mentioned before with the NAEP scores, we can actually empirically see that they're getting worse at reading. And don't get me wrong, I don't have a doctorate or a PhD in looking at numbers, but this definitely does not
That doesn't look good. You know, that doesn't look good.
look good.
You don't have to have a PhD to recognize this is shit.
And maybe you're looking at me and you're thinking this is just a good old red-blooded American problem. Like maybe we're just too busy letting freedom ring to pick up a book and read a
Probably America like more rapid because there are also like way more people, like for example compared to Germany or Austria, which are independent countries. The amount of people is smaller. So if you make studies like that, I'm not sure how far the percentage will go down, but usually, I don't want to blame Americans, a lot of things are happening there first, and then and then you start to notice it in other directions as well. Usually, please don't hate me.
Few words in it. Well, you'd be wrong if you thought that, because this is a global problem.
Yeah,
the program
it is.
for international students.
But because of the massive amount of people in America, like in terms of population, just makes things more prominent, right? So if let's just like not real numbers. If let's say in Austria there are I think 9 million people living here, and if you say, and let's say 20% of this is like students, and then from those students 2% can't read. Like this is such a low number with the 9 million from the get-go. So, and then of course if you talk in percentages, it's always a little bit less problematic, you know. But if you move it over to America with the same numbers, let's say in Austria it's like, I don't know, I didn't do the math, let's say 4,000 people, 4,000 kids, which is a damn lot of people. I wouldn't even say so many. Maybe let's say 1,000. Let's say 1,000 people, 1,000 kids in Austria can't read when they're, let's say, 10 years old, or can't properly read, 10 years old. And then if you use it, and then if you calculate it over to America, for example, which is having like multiple 100 million people, and then you know, and then you say because of the massive amount of people, I don't know, 200 kids with that age can't read. This is a bigger number than 1,000, right? But it's just like in terms of how big the country is. So it always sounds very, very drastic in America, just with the amount of people living there and the amount of kids living there, and compared to, let's say, for my case, or European countries. It do be overall a global problem, though. It is everywhere.
An assessment, or the PISA.
Yeah, the PISA studies.
Fun name. They tested 15-year-olds across dozens of countries, and they found that reading scores declined across most developed nations between 2018 and 2022. So no, this isn't just some vibes we're feeling. This isn't just some energy that's being put into the universe. This is something we can see, physically see, empirically see that is happening. Which that means at the end of the day, the question isn't if there is a literacy crisis. The question is what caused it.
multiple factors.
Here's the thing about the literacy decline that a lot of people may get wrong. It didn't start with the pandemic. I mean, sure, the pandemic made it
No, definitely not. What you had during the pandemic was time to read.
worse, a lot worse, but the trend was already here. Reading scores have been essentially flat or declining since the early 2010s. The 2024 NAEP scores are roughly where they were in 1992. So that means in 30 years of potential progress, we actually haven't made progress. We've made regression.
Regression.
That's what we've done. So what changed? Well, honestly, I don't think it takes some super genius megamind to figure out what happened. Around 2012, something shifted. And here's a little video that maybe will allude, or maybe it'll give you a little hint about what that shift was.
Today, we're introducing 3 revolutionary products of this class. The first one is a widescreen iPod with touch controls. The second is a revolutionary mobile phone. And the third is a breakthrough internet communications device. These are not 3 separate devices.
It's one.
This is one device.
I mean, it is a nice revolutionary item, but the thing is how you use it, right?
And we are calling it iPhone. And here it is.
In 2012, teen smartphone ownership crossed the 50% threshold. By 2018, it was 95%. Who would have guessed that giving kids phones and allowing them to nomadically travel across the whole wide web world internet wouldn't be a good idea? Who would have guessed that?
Aside from the thing that they have to like access to videos and whatever, like that you have a hard time controlling what they do there, it is also dangerous. Like there's also German essays. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure there are also American essays about it. Where kids, for example, I don't think WhatsApp is big in America. I'm not sure. But in Europe, or specifically Germany, Austria, WhatsApp, it's like a messenger basically on your phone. And you need the phone number to have access to it usually. But now you can also make like public groups so people can join you. And there's a trend of kidfluencers, so kid influencers. I know it sounds wild that this word like exists from the get-go, but they're also like kid influencers who have specific WhatsApp groups so they can like post like a little bit like on Snapchat, like daily updates, what they're doing, stuff like that. And it's very, I would say in those essays, it looked very, very personal. And you can also see buildings, nothing is censored, everything is very visible. And the thing is, kids don't understand the danger of this, right? So they just post and think, yeah, some other kids will watch it, but there's so many adult people in these groups, and it is like some use emojis and you know exactly, okay, this and that emoji means, you know, like the eggplant emoji, you know all what the eggplant emoji means in internet culture, and kids don't, and then they see that and they don't think much about it. But like I'm pretty sure all of you who are watching right now, they know exactly what this eggplant emoji is. And then those kind of things, especially with buildings and everything around that you can track and figure out, stalking issues might increase or even worse. So aside from the educational danger for kids using the phone or the iPad too much, there's also like the thing of those communication apps or being like a social media kid. It sounds so wild. Comes with other dangers that you definitely don't want either. Like, I think you would accept your kid not being able to read properly than having a stalker around the corner. But that's just my guess.
Not me. I wouldn't guess that. I would have thought it was good. Maybe. I don't know. And here's where things start to get a little bit more interesting. The kids who took the 2024 NAEP reading tests, they were in kindergarten when the pandemic started. Their entire literacy foundation was built during remote learning, Zoom fatigue, and reduced instructional time. So pretty much their whole literacy foundation was built on a big, massive heaping pile of dung with a side of cornbread. So the pandemic didn't create the problem, but it did accelerate it. It took trends that we saw that were already a little bit concerning, and it compressed them into a very short amount of time.
You have got to stop blaming COVID for kids not being able to read and write on grade level. Let's be clear. Kids were not reading and writing on grade level before COVID. It's just that COVID exposed how bad the educational system had become at that time. But it is not COVID's fault. Teachers have been being forced to pass kids along, give away free grades. Let's call a spade if we're going to talk about education. Don't blame COVID for this.
And I think also a big problem if parents don't give away those grades. That is just my assumption, yeah? Because I already, like, thanks to my friend who with the daughter, they are in a circle where like they're like in a parents kind of neighborhood, like everyone has kids and some of them are already in school, and if the kids are getting not the grades the parents basically expect or think they would get or whatever it is, some of them are really, really harsh to the teachers. Even though the kid is not bringing in the what is that word? Leistung. My German. Not bringing in like what it takes to get the grade basically. And also the parents don't support their kid to learn better or help them learn and stuff like that. And then the parents get mad at the teachers because the teacher doesn't give the grade that they want them for the kid. And then they kind of verbally attack the teacher, which is not okay. Absolutely not okay.
Decisions that the school board is making. Don't blame COVID for decisions the Department of Education is making. Okay? COVID just exposed where we are in education. Kids were not reading and writing on grade level years before that, okay? You're passing kids along through a system and you're expecting them to get what they need. It's not going to happen. And you can't blame teachers either because teachers, our hands are forced. And you can't blame parents because parents actually don't even know what's really going on in the school system.
Yeah, it like I said, it has multiple issue problems basically. And it's just a really, really difficult thing to fix.
Stop blaming COVID.
But something deeper was happening than just these test scores. Something was happening to attention itself.
Oh yeah.
You've probably at some point in your life heard the statistic that humans have a shorter attention span than goldfish. Well, that statistic is complete phooey. I poo-poo that statistic. It's not right. As it turns out, that statistic is completely and fully made up, allegedly. It actually came from a Microsoft report that cited a website called Statistic Brain, which cited no actual research. Multiple journalists have tried to trace the source and found nothing. Also, maybe this is just me and again, my silly little dumb goofy brain, but do we actually have a way to accurately measure a goldfish's attention span?
No.
Like, is that something we can do? Because as far as I know,
we just measure how long can it look at the plant or something like that.
Fish aren't really known for filling out surveys. I haven't seen them do that.
Me zoning out every 5 seconds because I have an attention span of a goldfish. Oh, jeez.
But speaking about attention and all of that, here's what is true.
Okay.
Attention isn't shrinking, it's fragmenting. Cognitive neuroscientist Marianne Wolf, author of Reader Come Home, has spent decades studying what she calls the reading brain. And her research shows something that's pretty interesting. It's pretty fascinating. It shows that reading isn't natural. There's no gene for literacy. The brain has to be trained over years to do something it wasn't designed to do. So for all of you people out there who don't read and who pride themselves in not reading, congratulations in leaning into your natural instinct. I applaud that. I applaud getting in touch with yourself. That's very holistic medicine of you. But yeah, reading requires a level of sustained attention, working memory, and the ability to hold ambiguity while you wait for a resolution. It requires what Wolf calls deep reading. The slow contemplative processing that allows us to understand complex ideas and crucially to develop empathy. Now think about what all the kids are doing nowadays, how they're all on their little TikToks watching short form content, and think about what this short form content trains. Novelty scanning, dopamine seeking, rapid context switching, the ability to process surface level information very quickly and then move on to the next thing. And I mean, I guess in some kind of way, these maybe could be useful skills. I mean, I can't think of anything off the top of my head where a person with a 3.27 second long attention span would be beneficial. I can't think of a single thing like that, but I'm sure there is something. There's something out there. Like taking out the trash, maybe. Maybe they're good at that. I don't know.
I mean, I hope that they take out the trash, but apparently they're like in the beginning there were videos that kind of hint that they're not, you know.
So I'm not saying that those things are completely useless, even though I haven't found something that says the opposite. But what I am saying is that process, those things you learn, are completely different than what you get from reading. Basically, we trained kids on 15-second long brain rot videos and then handed them Frankenstein. And the data actually backs this up. Common Sense Media reports that tweens now spend an average of 5.5 hours a day on screens for entertainment.
Jesus Christ. I mean, I'm in front of a screen all the time, right? But it's work related. It's work related. Like, I also process social media differently. Like, a lot of things I'm like, okay, this is funny, I can show on stream. Or this is interesting, I want to read the comments and like get new insights of what people think about a specific topic. And then I just read them and find my own conclusion about different things. Actually, there was a time where I was scrolling TikTok for also stream content. But I don't do that anymore. I don't do that anymore. I think the most app that I use is Discord and VTube Studio on my phone. Like Discord to just stay in touch with the community, and this VTube Studio obviously because something has looked into my face, so I can move like this. So yeah, that is like the most used things on my phone, and then everything else is below that. Maybe I have like, let's round it up. I have like 6 to 7 hours of social media time per week on my phone. I would have to check, but I can't right now. Like it's looking at me, but usually it's roughly something like that. Like Discord is a lot, but as I said, it's staying in touch with the community is very important to me. And I think like social media, let's just let it be 10 hours per week. That's still not much, you know, in comparison to this. So it is always, and then like I said, usually I watch social media to either look up something, find something funny for the stream, getting inspiration. Also, I'm starting to look at different game studios, that how they present themselves on social media, to maybe like reach out in the future to them. So yeah.
And teens, they spend over 8 hours a day on screens for entertainment. Meanwhile, the percentage of students who wrote long answers more than 5 times a year decreased between 2022 and 2024. So kids are consuming more content than they ever have before, but they're not processing it as deeply. And while one of my favorite hobbies in the whole world is blaming TikTok for things, in this case, it's not quite the whole story. There's a podcast called Sold a Story that went viral a few years ago. It documented something called the Reading Wars, decades of debate about how to teach kids to read. For years, many schools used an approach to literacy called balanced literacy, which de-emphasized phonics, the explicit teaching of letter-sound relationships, in favor of encouraging kids to guess words from context and pictures, which in my humble opinion, I feel like my reading skills drastically declined even just from hearing that suggestion. That sounds so
There are books that are really popular for kids in first class in the store. Like some people like to buy them, some people are like, no, it has to have full words basically. So it is kind of a mixed thing what the consumers or like what the buyers want in this case.
Like I hear that and immediately think that does not sound good.
The idea was for them to see the same words over and over again and memorize them.
And the problem with that is that extensive research shows that balanced literacy doesn't work. The science of reading movement, backed by cognitive neuroscience, has demonstrated that explicit, systematic phonics instruction is more effective, especially for people who struggle to read. And now many schools are switching back to the whole phonics system, but it's kind of too late in a sense because so many kids are stuck in this old way of teaching. They're already stuck with that foundation. So I think we're gonna have like a 15-year range of people who just can't read and who can't comprehend anything. But it's okay because we probably can just corral a bunch of them up and have them push rocks or something. It might be fun to watch. There's also the educational tech explosion. During the pandemic, schools were pretty much forced to adopt these all new ways of using tech and all these new educational tech tools, tablets, apps, learning platforms, and the evidence on whether these actually improve literacy is mixed at best. It's not great. Studies show that students comprehend better from physical books than they do screens, that handwriting activates different parts of the brain than typing, that the very devices.
I always, like, for example, what personally, that is above education, okay? This is above that. But for example, like, we all have so many things to deal with. So things like anxiety is skyrocketing for overall population, I think. And what really helped me is to write down what my brain is thinking. That slowed down my brain because my hand physically can't write as fast as my brain is spinning. So that helps me. If you have problems with anxiety, try to write it with your hand. Doesn't have to look pretty. You don't have to read it ever again. Just that you slow down your brain a little bit and get the thoughts out that you have. For me, helped drastically. Can absolutely recommend. Doesn't work for everybody, but just give it a go. Give it a go. Maybe it helps you. And if yes, wonderful. If not, maybe there's something else for you. Don't give up.
Meant to help kids learn,
but this is also something important to teach kids.
So no, it's not just TikTok that's causing this. It's curriculum. It's institutional decision. It's a system that was already struggling, hit with a pandemic, and then you add in a bunch of devices that people don't know how to use. Not a great mixture. That's not a great recipe. Really, it just sounds like these kids got the mega uppercut of bad literacy decisions. But at the end of the day, I don't want to be alarmist about this. I don't think it's destroying our society. I don't think we're gonna collapse and vanish into thin air, even though one day we might have.
Now we will just find solution for it.
An iPad kid
Probably,
president.
hopefully.
But what I am trying to talk about is what literacy actually connects to. Students who can't read proficiently by 3rd grade are 4 times more likely to drop out of high school. 70% of incarcerated adults can't read at a 4th grade level. 85% of juveniles who interact with the court system are functionally illiterate. High school dropouts are 3.5 times more likely to be arrested than graduates. And beyond just those statistics, there's something that's a little bit harder to measure, and that's critical thinking. The ability to evaluate sources, to distinguish good arguments from bad ones, to recognize manipulation. Deep reading, the kind that Marianne Wolf talks about, isn't just about processing words. It's about building the cognitive infrastructure for deeper thoughts. So in a sense, I think it's fair to say that reading isn't just
that do be dangerous for the future.
Just a school subject, but it's critical infrastructure for participating in society at a functional and deeper level. And right now, that infrastructure is cracking, but there might be good news.
Oh, yeah?
You may or may not know this, but our brains are plastic. And I'm not talking about the plastic like what Barbie dolls are made out of. I'm saying that they're easily shaped and molded. Researchers at the University of Washington gave struggling readers an intensive 8-week tutoring program. They did MRI scans before and after, and what they found was pretty cool, actually. They found that the neural circuitry of the people they tutored actually strengthened. The white matter tracks that connect the language and vision centers of the brain showed measurable changes. 8 weeks, that's all it took. It only took 8 weeks to start seeing physical changes in people's brains. So in 2 weeks, they went from boulder pushers to that galaxy brain meme. Other research shows that structured literacy programs based on the science of reading can close skill gaps significantly. That screen time reduction improves attention, and that physical books outperform digital ones for comprehension. So while many brains today, specifically Gen Alpha brains, may be trained to think on a quick surface level, they can be retrained to think on a deeper level. So it's not completely hopeless. We can change brains, but it actually requires us to try.
Yeah, it is requiring like try and effort, and also let's just face it, Also requires, probably if it comes from an educational system, it requires money. It requires people who do this. It requires that the parents are being also involved into it, so they can support their kids at home when they're not in this thing, and that they also like long term are exposed to books, to reading, to writing, and have less screen time. It has to have it is just so many different things that you have to target and include into the whole process. But it is like a, in German you would say that is eine Mammutaufgabe. So it's like a mammoth project. It's how big it is, you know. But it's definitely needed. The thing is, do we have the resources, and also is there the will to use these resources, like to you know? And this is something where I'm a little bit pessimistic, basically. Not sure.
Which, while looking through this research and hearing what other people had to say, there is a word that I feel like kind of came up a lot. Maybe not this word directly, but pretty much this word, and that is friction. Reading has friction. It's slow. It requires effort. You have to hold ideas in your head while you wait for payoff. And in doing that, you have to tolerate one of the worst things known to mankind: boredom.
I'm sorry I'm pausing so much, but man, boredom is so important. From boredom comes a lot of creativity. That is the thing. There comes a lot of drive. If you are bored, you don't want to be bored. So you come with creative ways how to not be bored. If you have a handful of stones or pebbles and you are bored, you probably maybe create a new game for you. Let's something like that. Just as an example, boredom is so important to experience and being exposed to.
And we've spent the last decade removing friction from everything. One-click ordering, infinite scrolls, skip intro, whatever this TikTok is. The entire attention economy is based on eliminating the space between wanting something and getting it. But friction is where reading lives. Friction is where learning lives. Friction is where deep thought lives. So maybe one of the easiest solutions to this whole reading crisis is actually just to stop giving kids unlimited access to technology and start giving them more books. Who would have guessed that? It's crazy. I know your brain is blown, your mind's blown. But yeah, those are just my thoughts. But if you want to watch more, check out this video right here. So go ahead, click on it, watch it. But other than that, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.
There's a serious crisis in
that was a great video, I have to say. I'm not sure if pacifistic is the right word. I'm kind of thinking since I said it, but maybe it's the right one, maybe it's the wrong one. Like being a bit more, not hopeless, but you know. But yeah, what are your thoughts? I mean, we can definitely say that we all notice that Gen Alpha and sometimes even Gen Z is declining in terms of attention, knowledge. What's the word? Like they can't wait. They also have to wiggle around all the time. So let me just know what you think, and also what you think, what parts we should involve into the fixing progress, basically. Because as I said, it's like a community type of thing, like humanity as a community. So it's not the teachers, it's not only the parents, it's not only the education system. There's so many things involved into this. It was just interesting to see. And maybe what also would be interesting, if you either are a parent or you want to become a parent, what are the things where you already are like settling down for yourself that you don't want your kids to experience or being exposed to, stuff like that? You know what I mean? That would be very interesting to talk about. And like as always, be polite in the comments. And I see you on the next time. Bye bye.